Welcome back, everyone. In my last video, I asked you to move this into its own component, this card. So what we can do in this one is do that now. So let's create a component called card. So we'll initialize the folder and we'll say card.component.jsx as well as card.styles.css. Inside of card component, let's do all of our setup. So we know we need to import the component class from React. We also might as well import our style file because we know we're going to need the styles. Finally, let's initialize the class. So we'll say class card extends component. And also we need to make sure we export default the card. So I like doing all of this up front, this setup for a new component, just so that I remember. It's easy sometimes for us to write our code and then for things not to work, and we think that it's a bug, when in reality, we're just missing some of the crucial steps that are necessary in order for these cards and these multiple files to all work together. So by doing this stuff up front, you're making sure that you get around that. We also need to make sure that we render something, and in that render, we return something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over, I'm going to copy this code over. So this is the HTML. And when we look at this HTML, what do we see that we're missing? Well, we actually don't have all of the required variables. We don't because we haven't inserted anything. So here, what I want to do is I want to make sure that I destructure off the ID, the name, and the email, which are the values that my component is expecting to use. And obviously, this is going to come in as a prop. What I want to do is I want to pass the entire object through. By doing that, I know that what I'm getting off of this props is going to be exactly that whole object, and that object should have these values. There are ways that we can enforce this that we'll talk about later. For now, we are making a pretty small application. We're the only people coding on it, so we know what it is that we're coming in, which is this monster. At this point, if we save this, and what we're going to do is replace the cardless component with this component. So here, I'm going to say card. And instead of doing the destructuring here, I'm just going to pass monster like so, as that prop that we set up. And then I'm going to import in card from card-card component. And let me save this. And just to make sure, our code is still working. The other thing that we're missing now is moving the styles. We have card-related styling inside of card list. And as I mentioned, CSS is relevant everywhere, which is why our styles still work. But again, for the proper separation of concerns, we want to move this into card styles. We've already done the import. If we go back, we see that our code is still working. The last thing that we need to add is going to be the title. So here, I'm going to leave it up to you to put whatever title you want into your application. What I'm going to do is just go into the app.js, and I'm just going to put an H1 above the search box. And here, I'm probably going to want to move it a little or put some padding around it. So I'm also going to give it a class name of app title. And inside, I'm just going to say monsters Rolodex. I'm going to save this, go into app CSS, and target app title. Once we're inside, what I want is a margin top of, let's just say 75 pixels. I want a margin bottom of, let's say 50 pixels. I want a font size of 76 pixels. And I also want a font color, or just color in this particular case, of #0CCAC4, which is a light blue. At this point, you can also actually include a new font. And if you're unfamiliar, or if you are familiar with adding fonts into applications, typically what you might do is you might go on to Google Fonts And inside of Google Fonts, you'll just find a font that you like, and then you'll install the script into your HTML file. So I'll show you how to do that. You can pick whatever font you want. I'm going to pick Bigelow Rules, which is this one, because it looks kind of like monsterish, kind of reminds me of Addams Family. So here, I'm just going to hit this plus to add this style. And then all you do is you take this link, you copy this, you go back into your application, and let's just close all these other unneeded files. In order for us to actually include it in our application, typically you put it inside of your index.html. And for us, it's the exact same. We have it here inside of our public folder, and we're just going to paste this somewhere. So I'm going to paste this right here. And this will install in our Google Fonts. So once I have the fonts, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into my app CSS, and I'm just going to say that font family is going to be Bigelow Rules, because this is the one that we just installed. You see the name right here. And then if we go back to our application, we'll see that everything matches now. So this application looks pretty similar to this application. I've got a little bit more padding or margin at the top. It's up to you if you want to add less, add more. You can tweak this however you want. But this is it. This is our application. Everything works as we expect it to. You can clear the search bar and everything works. And there you go. This is your first project of Monster's Rolodex. If any of this was confusing, please rewatch this series of videos, because from here, we're really going to build atop the foundation of everything we've learned. And just to quickly go over, a lot of the main focus of what we wanted to understand about this project and React was primarily components, how they render, how they re-render, and the basic composition patterns that we need for React. So now that we understand this, I'm going to go deeper with what we've just learned, and you're going to get a lot of practice with a lot of these concepts again. We just work with class components, and in the next video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about converting these into functional components and some of the differences between class and functional components. So if you're unfamiliar with class components, just quickly go over them. You'll get a good understanding of generally how they work. And then in the next video, let's dive deeper into functional components and hooks.